Welcome, everybody, to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show.
It's my goal to feed 1 billion people before I die.
We want to bring awareness around the issue of hunger and food insecurity.
7 to 8 million people served so far. With the sole goal of eradicating world hunger by connecting sources of food to recipients in need. Fiorenza's Food for Friends.
This week's episode of the F4 Hunger Awareness Show has us covering hunger around the globe. We're going to be talking about hunger and spreading awareness in Uganda. But before we do that, we're going to start by talking about the Global Hunger Index. And what we'll see as of 2025, Uganda ranked 87th out of 123 countries. This was the Global Hunger Index with a score of 20.2. Uganda has a level of hunger that is considered to be serious. So I will share this slide so everyone can see what I'm referencing that's watching. As you can see here, it's considered to be serious. 20.2 puts them in the serious category. Alarming would be between 35 and 49, and extremely alarming would be greater than 50. So they're in the serious scale at 20.2. So what is the Global Hunger Index score? And this was informative for me. I learned as I was doing some research here. The Global Hunger Index is a tool to comprehensively measure and track hunger at a global, regional, and national level. The Global Hunger Index scores are based on the values of four different component indicators. So what are they? Number one, undernourishment. This is the share of the population with insufficient caloric intake. So just not being able to get enough calories to sustain a healthy lifestyle. Number two, child stunting. This represents the share of children under the age of 5 who have low height for their age. This is a byproduct of chronic undernutrition. So when children are not able to eat enough, then it affects their ability to grow, specifically, their height and their weight. Number 3, child wasting. This represents the share of children, also under age 5, who have low weight for their height. This reflects acute undernutrition. So the height is chronic undernutrition, the weight is acute undernutrition. And then lastly, child mortality. Child mortality is the share of children who die before their 5th birthday, partly reflecting the fatal mix of inadequate nutrition and unhealthy environments. So these 4 variables, indicators, are reviewed, and together they're able to produce a score on the Global Hunger Index. So this is something that we're going to keep an eye on. 1/3 of the score is based upon undernutrition, 1/6 on child stunting, 1/6 on child wasting, and 1/3 on child mortality. Together they make up the Global Hunger Index. So to recap, Uganda, the country of Uganda, has a score of 20.2, putting it in a very serious condition. It's ranked 87th out of 123 countries that have enough data to measure the Global Hunger Index. So we will surely cover other countries that are struggling, but Uganda is what we're focusing on today, and Uganda's hunger, food insecurity issues. So we'll continue to kind of shed a light on that. Okay, moving on. 22% of the population of Uganda is undernourished. 23.5% of the children under 5 are stunted. 3.2% of children under 5 are wasted. And 3.9% of children die before their 5th birthday. So again, child wasting reflects their weight. And when we say stunted, reflects their height. And obviously mortality is them passing away. So very, very sad. When we look at the Global Hunger Index score trend for Uganda, we've actually seen some improvements dating back to the year 2000. And I'll share my screen here for those watching us on YouTube on video. We're seeing a slight improvement. So the Global Hunger Index was at 36 in 2000. It dropped to 28.6 in 2008. It then basically leveled off, went up slightly in 2016 to 29.1. And then we've seen another drop of about 9 points in 2025 to 20.2. So those are some encouraging statistics that we're seeing in terms of the global hunger index. And again, these are estimates. So we'll continue to kind of keep an eye on that. There's also some good work being done in Uganda through the Hunger Project. So hunger in Uganda, we'll kind of cover this at a very, very high level. And a little backdrop, this is from the Hunger Project. Uganda is a country of immense agricultural potential and natural wealth, yet hunger remains a daily reality for millions of people. Despite the progress, and we referenced some of that progress, right? We looked at the Global Hunger Index statistics from 2000, and then we fast forwarded to 2025. We've dropped from 36 to 20, so a 16-point drop over the past 25 years, which is good. It is good progress. But with that being said, 4 in 10 Ugandans live in poverty, with nearly half of all households facing food insecurity. So when we talk about food insecurity, it means we don't know where our next meal is coming from. So that concern of when am I eating again? Where am I getting that meal from? Um, that all goes into that food insecurity. When someone says they're food insecure, they're facing hunger. They don't know how to resolve it. Um, so certain regions like Karamoha, I think I might have pronounced that wrong. Hunger is especially acute. It's driven by a combination of poverty, gender inequality, environmental issues like climate shocks, and limited access to basic services. This crisis undermines health and education, but also threatens Uganda's sustainable development. So these are some things that we're trying to bring to light, and we see these themes, the thematic influence of hunger and food insecurity all over the world. Climate plays a role in it, gender inequality, but poverty is at the root of much of this. So great work though being done by the Hunger Project. The Hunger Project has provided, it looks like, over 233,000 people support. So they're doing a lot of great work. And what we're going to do is continue to kind of bring awareness to hunger all over the world. Here are some statistics, hunger stats. We talked about being at 20.2%, ranked 87th out of 123 countries. And we talked about some of the stats at a child level. So when we think about 1 in 4 children being stunted, that means that they could be permanently impacted, and it could be physical or cognitive damage that they incur. Um, so historically, the number has been 1/3 of children that have been affected by that. And according to UNICEF, it's around 2.4 million children. Undernutrition is contributing to about 40% of the deaths in these children under age 5. So certainly a massive problem in Uganda, with 40% of the population living in poverty. A couple other things that we wanted to talk about. Uganda actually hosts over almost 2 million refugees, the largest in all of Africa, and they are facing aid shortages. So they've had reduced food rations in 2025. So we want to kind of keep an eye on that. And then as we're trying to promote hope and promote solutions, there are some really good things being done, as I mentioned, with the Hunger Project, which is more community led on a localized level. There's also opportunities to improve, clean water access and improving the overall nutrition, supporting local farmers and local markets. So sustainability is going to be the key here, and communities need to be in charge of their own solutions. So as much as we want to provide aid from the outside, it's important. I would call it crucial to empower these localized communities to support themselves. So giving them the resources and the access to information that they need. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think it's really important that we continue to be aware of food insecurity on a localized level. I always talk about, it's local first, but it's also good to be aware of hunger more nationally and then beyond that internationally, just to keep proper perspective. I also wanted to share a Bible passage. So this is from the Gospel of Matthew, verse 16, and it says, verse 16, what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his very life? Or what can he give in exchange for his life? So to me, whether you are a Christian or non-Christian, just a human being, the idea of focusing only on oneself, and I use that term generally, and not on others is limiting. It's limiting to many degrees, and life is full of much more when we give, when we serve, when we love. When we identify our purpose in giving and not just in taking and in receiving, but in serving and loving, then we're able to have an impact on a localized level in our own community and our own families, and hopefully then beyond. And the goal of F4 has always been to create hunger awareness. We believe in a world where everyone has access to food. We believe that we can create a world without hunger and food insecurity, but only if we work together. So providing the education, engaging others, and telling people, hey, listen to the F4 Hunger Awareness Show, subscribe, follow along for key hunger stats, and then getting involved on a local level in your own community, wherever you are around the world, to volunteer. See what you can do to pitch in and help. If we all work together, we can create a world without hunger and food insecurity. So don't give up. Don't ever, feel like we can't make an impact. 1 hour, 1 day, one time volunteering, one donation, one follow, one like, it all helps. It all puts out good energy as we work to eradicate hunger and food insecurity. So today we covered hunger and food insecurity in Uganda. Please make sure you follow and subscribe to F4 Service. We thank you for listening and helping us to promote hunger awareness. We believe all people should have access to food, and we're working to striving to create that reality. Thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next episode of the F4 Hunger Awareness Show. Thank you so much.